Hi everybody, it's Becky with Life Peace Energy. Welcome to tonight's restorative class. For tonight's class, you will need 2 throw-sized yoga blankets, and depending on your flexibility, you may or may not need a block or a book, just something that'll help lift that floor up a little bit more. Let's go ahead and get started coming into Sukhasana, heels in line with the groin, and starting to rock side to side, feeling those sit bones connect to the earth beneath you. Coming into just a little bit of stillness here, bringing the shoulders up to the ears, waterfall the shoulder blades down the back, and start to imagine there's a string on the top of your head pulling you just a little bit taller. If you're needing some grounding energy tonight, being a little bit more present in the body, maybe the palms of the hands will face down. If you're looking for some new energy, maybe some creative inspiration, maybe those palms will face up. It totally depends on what's best for you tonight. And if it feels safe, close the eyes. And if it doesn't feel safe, just lower the gaze down to the ground. Taking the next few breaths, start to notice where that air wants to go tonight. And notice where it doesn't want to go. Noticing where there's ease in the breath. Noticing where there's constriction. We're going to open up tonight's practice with some 5-3-7 breath. So taking a deep breath in through the nose and a full exhale out through the mouth. Breathe in through the nose for a 5 count. Hold the breath up full for a 3 count. And exhale out through the mouth like you're breathing through a straw for a 7 count. Inhale 5. Hold 3. Exhale 7. Inhale 5. Hold 3. Exhale 7. Continue with this. So anytime we make our exhale a little bit longer than our inhale, we're activating the vagus nerve and we're giving the body an opportunity to invite in relaxation, that rejuvenation that our bodies kind of need right now. So these long exhales are kind of the key here to this relaxation. Staying with this pranayama or this breath work for 3 more rounds. After your last 5-3-7 breath, come back to deep yogic breathing. And bringing the hands to heart center, press the thumbs into the sternum and take a moment to set a sankalpa or an intention for tonight's practice. This is your practice, make it personal. Exhale, release the hands to the knees, drop the chin to the chest. Inhale the ear to one shoulder. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, ear to opposite shoulder. Exhale, chin to chest. Continue with this, let your breath start to carry you. When the ear finds one shoulder, go ahead and leave it there. Bring that same arm up and over, adding just a little bit of pressure. And then walk the opposite hand away from the body, lengthening those scalenes, those neck muscles. Taking some slow, deep breaths here. Then walking the hand behind the body just a little bit more. Inhale, lift up, release. Switching sides, dropping the chin to the chest, bringing the ear to the opposite shoulder. Bring that same arm up and over. Walk the opposite hand away from the body. Breathing in here. Walking the hand behind the body just a little bit more. Inhale, lift up and release. We're going to interlace the fingers. Bring the fingers back behind the occipital. Elbows open up super wide. Dropping the chin to the chest, keeping the back super straight here. Breathe in here. Finding that stretch in the back of the neck and through the upper shoulder blades. And then keeping the chin glued to the chest, start to round the back, looking down at the belly button. Finding that stretch from the occipital ridge all the way down to the sit bones. Inhale, lift up, roll it out the shoulders. Now reach the arm across the body, find the opposite knee. Do your best beauty queen pose, which is exactly how the ancient yogis cued this. And then taking your free shoulder, draw it down towards your free knee as your elbow comes up towards the ceiling. Both sit bones stay glued to the earth. Long side stretch here. Inhale, lift up, switching sides, reaching for the opposite knee. Do your best beauty queen pose. Drawing the shoulder down towards the free knee, elbow comes up towards the ceiling. Breathe in here. Inhale, lift up and release. Rolling out the shoulders. For this class, we are going to make a little burrito, and that is the prop we're going to use for almost all of our poses. So for me, I have a yoga blanket, a throw size blanket. I'm going to put down a second one. And then I'm just going to roll them together. If you have a bolster at home, you're welcome to use a bolster instead of blankets. Blankets are just more accessible right now while we're all home together. We are going to come into a supported Paschimottanasana. So we'll bring our little burrito widthwise across the mat. Staying in a seated position, we'll bring the legs over our bolster. Maybe pull the flesh away from the sit bones, letting those sit bones really connect to the earth beneath you. Normally in a Paschimottanasana, our feet are super flexed, our legs are super activated, but this is restorative, so we're going to release all the tension on the legs. We're going to roll the legs several times. Now, depending on how far away your lap is right now, you may or may not want to grab a block and bring a block or a book onto your lap, depending on what you might need. From here, we'll lift up through the spine, walk forward. The back rounds in this one. And we're going to let that chin hug in towards the chest and get a beautiful opening all the way through the low back. So if you're using a block, it might look like this. Or it might look like this. Or maybe like this. It's going to depend on what's best for you. We're going to hold this pose for almost 5 full minutes. So finding some comfort and then just focusing on the breath. Slowly deepen your breath. Start to walk the hands back, coming back up to a seated position. From here, we're going to start to move gently into Janushriasana. So to come into Janushriasana, we're going to bring one leg out to the side, whatever is comfortable for your hips. You're going to bring one heel in towards the groin. In restorative, we're not super active, so the muscles aren't engaged. We want those muscles to relax. So go ahead and just roll the legs out a couple of times. And then in a traditional vinyasa, we're trying to kind of find our edge. In restorative, we're not. So we want to just soften. So find a foundation here that is super comfortable in through these hips. From there, we're going to take our blanket and we're going to bring our blanket on top of our leg. Most likely, we're all going to want a block or a book. And remember, your block or book has 3 levels: baby bear, mama bear, and papa bear. It's very likely you're going to be on the papa bear level. You can bring your block like so. We'll lift up through the spine, twist over that extended leg, and then fold forward, resting the head down onto the block or onto the knee. We're going to hang out here for about 5 minutes on the side, getting a really beautiful opening in this low back. You're going to want to try to get that belly over the thigh as much as possible so that there is that twist and opening in that lumbar region. And taking some deep belly breaths here. Slowly deepen your breath. You're going to start to walk the hands back, coming back to a seated position. Reach down, support your extended leg, bend the knee. Inviting that heel in towards the groin. We're going to switch sides, extending the opposite leg down the mat. Take a moment, shift the body weight, find those sit bones. Roll out your extended leg, release any held tension there. And do know that both sides of your bodies are more like distant cousins and not identical twins. So it's very likely that this pose on one side is super comfortable and it's super tight on the other side. That's normal. Welcome to being human. So with the bolster on the leg, we'll lift up through the spine again, twist, and then place the belly back down. And again, you have your block, so please use the block because we want to be comfortable in this practice. Slowly deepen your breath. Start to walk the hands back, coming back to a seated position. We're going to bring our bolster lengthwise down the mat and come into a balasana or a supported child's pose. There are a million ways to do child's pose. The most comfortable and the most accessible to most is to bring the toes together and the knees out super wide. Bring those hips back to meet the heels as much as possible. The bolster or the blankets will come between the legs, and then we're just going to walk the hands forward, placing the belly down onto the bolster. Your hands can come up overhead, maybe they come back behind you, whatever's comfortable. We're only going to be here for about 3 minutes, just letting that low back and hips open up. Slowly deepen the breath. Bring the hands back underneath the shoulders, and then push yourself back up into a seated position. We are going to come into a reclined spinal twist. So bringing your burrito right next to your hip, lengthwise on your mat. We're going to come onto our backs. Arms open out wide like a T. We're going to take our outer leg, bend the knee, and bring the leg up and over, whatever is comfortable. From here, if the leg doesn't fully touch or if your back isn't comfortable, you can use a block or a book here to lift that leg up. Just getting a beautiful opening in that lumbar area, that low back. They're fine shots. Slowly deepen your breath. We're going to unwind, coming flat onto the back. Bring the bolster to the opposite side, your little burrito here, right next to your extended leg. You'll bring the outer leg up and over Again, adjusting as is necessary, knowing that both sides of your body are probably very different. Slowly deepen the breath. Unwind, come back onto the back. Hugging both knees to the chest. Just gently rock side to side. From here, we're going to lower the soles of the feet down to the ground. Most of us are going to want to use our blankets. I know some people prefer to use the blocks for the next one, but we're going into starfish pose, which is our final pose before Savasana. So to come into starfish pose with the soles of the feet planted on the ground, to put the weight into the heels and lift the hips up. We'll slip our burritos right underneath our hips, or if you're using blocks, they'll go right underneath your hips. Straightening the legs, bringing your legs out as wide as is physically comfortable for you. And then bringing the arms up overhead, making yourself into a big X shape, taking up as much room as you physically can. Starting to activate and open up the hip flexors, getting an opening in through the front body, hanging out here in starfish pose. Slowly deepen your breath. We're going to bend both knees, plant the soles of the feet onto the ground. Put the weight into the heels, lift the hips up and come back onto the back after you remove the bolster. Take a moment here, hug the knees to the chest. Maybe making some circles with the knees in one direction. Maybe making some circles with the knees in the opposite direction. And then closing out in Savasana. So straightening the legs, bringing the legs out as wide as the mat. Walking the shoulder blades down the back, palms facing up. Closing the eyes, letting the bones get heavy here. And take a moment, see if you can make yourself 10% more comfortable in this pose. And bringing the mind back to the breath over and over. Slowly start to deepen your breath and start to wiggle your fingers and toes. Bringing the arms up and over the head, taking up as much room as you possibly can from the tips of your fingers to the tips of your toes. Rolling over onto one side, pausing there for just a moment. Bringing to mind one thing that you love about yourself. One thing that you're grateful for right now. And offering yourself just a moment of gratitude for taking time to practice tonight. And when you're ready, and only when you're ready, push yourself up to a seated position with hands at heart center. And I leave you with these words from page 160 from the Chameleon Aura. Darling, you've got magic in your bones and gold in your soul. Don't let anyone treat you like you're ordinary. I am so grateful for the opportunity to practice with each and every one of you. I hope you leave this practice feeling just as much better than when we started. The light in me so very much honors the light in you. If you found value in this practice, please share this Zoom link with your friends and family. If you haven't joined Patreon yet, we would love to have you join our virtual yoga studio. If you're looking for inspired content, something you can't find via the search bar on Patreon, please shoot me a DM. I love to create inspired content. In the meantime, be kind to yourself and be kind to others.